Hi, I'm Scott Stevens with Simple Photo School. Have you ever heard people say shutter speed and maybe you didn't really know what they meant? Well, today I'm going to tell you and show you exactly what it is and how you can use it to start taking photos that you love. Shutter speed is most easily defined as the amount of time that the shutter is open. So whether that's 1 second or 1/4000th of a second, knowing how to use shutter speed to your advantage is a basic photographic skill that you shouldn't live without. And make sure you stick around till the end of the video for a quick tip that can help you start taking better photos today. Alright, so I'm going to explain exactly how the shutter works and what it is and how you can start using shutter speed to take images that you love. So first things first. Earlier I mentioned that the shutter speed is the amount of time that your shutter is open. But what is a shutter? Well, the shutter mechanism is actually made up of two parts. We'll call them curtain A and curtain B. When you fire the shutter button, curtain A rises to allow light to enter the camera to be captured. Then curtain B rises to meet curtain A, and they both reset to the closed position together. Now in DSLRs and SLRs, there's an extra step. There's a mirror at a 45-degree angle in front of the shutter. That mirror reflects light that comes through the lens up to the viewfinder on your camera so that you can see what's happening. So when you fire the shutter release button, that mirror pops up, allows light to come to the shutter, then the shutter goes through its normal mechanism of opening and closing, revealing light or allowing light to come into the camera, and then that mirror goes back down to a 45-degree angle so that you can again see light through the viewfinder of your camera. Mirrorless cameras obviously don't have a mirror, so they don't have that step of the mirror popping up and popping back down. Okay, so maybe that was a little bit complex, but now you know how the shutter works. So, how can you use shutter speed to start taking images that you love? Here are 3 great ways. Since shutters allow light from your scene to enter into the camera, the amount of time that that scene changes while the shutter is open can have a drastic effect on the image that you take. Using a fast shutter speed, like 1/250th of a second or faster, can freeze fast-moving objects, like a car racing by or an athlete in competition. Have you ever seen those pictures where there's a river or a waterfall and the water is just smooth and foggy and white and beautiful? And maybe you wondered how that happens or how they do that? That's actually from using a slow shutter speed. So what happens is the shutter opens, sometimes for half a second, or it can go much, much longer than that. And what happens is the light that's coming into your camera while the shutter's open is continuously changing as all of that motion occurs. So all of that motion is captured onto one image, and that's how you end up with the blurry, foggy looking water while everything else is crisp and still. Utilizing a slower shutter speed of around maybe a 30th of a second or a 15th or maybe up to a 60th of a second can allow you not just to capture your subject but also to show the movement behind it. For example, maybe you're taking a picture of a dancer and they are mid-move. If you were to use a fast shutter speed, then you might just freeze that moment and you don't really capture the essence of what's going on. That's when you can use a slower shutter speed like I mentioned, and that actually helps you to show the movement because there'll be some motion blur going along with the movement that the dancer is taking, or if you were to have a car drive by and you pan with it as you take it. The background will be blurred while the subject is basically sharp, and that will allow you to capture not just the subject but also the essence of the motion that's happening in the scene. Alright, so now you know what a shutter is and how you can use shutter speed to start taking images that you love. Also, I should go ahead and add that the shutter speed most often is located somewhere near the shutter release button on top of your camera, but its exact position may vary. So go ahead and check your camera manual to find out exactly where the shutter speed dial is so that you can start using it today. Oh, I almost forgot, your quick tip. So maybe you're like me and for a long time I struggled with this, but you're taking images handheld and your images aren't tack sharp. Like they always just seem a little bit blurry and you can't really figure out what's going on. Well, I have a solution for you. There is a good chance that the reason that's happening is because the pictures you're taking handheld aren't at a fast enough shutter speed. So what's happening is your pulse, vibration from your hands, or movement with your body is actually blurring the image a little bit. So a good rule of thumb is to use a shutter speed that is 1 over twice the focal length of your lens. So for example, if you're shooting with a 50mm lens, a good place to start would be 1/100th of a second. Now that doesn't always hold true. Some people are really steady-handed while others, like me, have really shaky hands. So in that same situation, I might use 1/200th of a second or a 250th of a second if I'm shooting handheld, just to ensure that I'm able to freeze the motion completely that's introduced by my body. That's one quick tip that can help you start taking better photos today. Go ahead and subscribe to our channel, Simple Photo School TV, so that you can always get the most up-to-date videos as soon as they're released. Thank you so much for watching this video. We'll see you next time.